Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
How's your weekend? Did you attend the AMVCAs for journalistic purposes? I was looking around for your pictures because I knew that if you had gone there, you would have finished the red carpet.
Dazzled there.
Okay, yes. Okay. Please endeavor that next year to show up, sir. Oh, yeah. All right, let's now head into the papers this morning. The Punch newspaper is our first paper this morning. On the front page of the Punch, we have the big story there. Rivers emergency rule. Federal government taps ex-AGF, 11 SANs as Supreme Court battle looms. At the rider, the Supreme Court may release hearing dates today. PDP governor's legal team prepares as AGF says Governors Forum lacks local standard. Interesting. NCAA on the fire after plane strikes antelope on taxiway. Aiyedatiwa Makinde Bamidele salute a Fenifere leader Fashoranti at 99. Federal government states add 57 trillion naira to debt in 18 months. PDP installs new board of trustee members as governors map party direction. Federal government makes U-turn, endorses Senate Security Summit. Why Jonathan won't run against Tinubu in 2027, our former First Lady Patience Jonathan says, I'm not desperate to return as Rivers Governor Fubara says. Let's start with PDP installing
so many juicy stories.
But I'd like us to start with PDP installing new board of trustee members as governors map party direction. We heard that they had a meeting. Yesomike, graced the meeting. Do you think that they are on course to revitalizing the party and sort of redefining the party structure?
I'm not particularly impressed with the people that were there yesterday. It's as if they are just deceiving Nigerians. Wike, former governor of Abia, now governor of Benue, were at the meeting. And I don't know, I don't see anything good coming out of that meeting. But
is it in terms of the personalities involved?
In terms of the personality, in terms of the issues, in terms of the body language of the principal characters at that meeting, I don't see anything good coming out of it. Well, I want to hope that maybe something good will come out of it. But for a party that has been in crisis, for a party that has been in existential crisis, I think it will be difficult for us to conclude based on the personnel, the personalities that were at the meeting yesterday. They can arrive at something. Some describe it as last-ditch effort to save a drowning party. But I'm just hopeful, but I'm not too sure.
You're not too excited?
I'm not excited.
The Governors Forum had set up Senate President Bukola Saraki as the leader of the Reconciliation Committee to address the internal crisis within the party. Can you speak about maybe his ability to steer this committee? Do you maybe have faith in the person of the Senate President, the former Senate President?
I respect the guy, Daddy Boy, the son of Nigeria's former Senate leader, Bukola Saraki. Bukola Saraki has been very consistent. We rank as one of the best Senate presidents in this country. He won on the platform of the APC. He went there and he was very, very vibrant, but very effective, not in fighting, but in checkmating the excesses of the executive. He was not allowed to continue. He lost election, he even lost in Kwara State. But if you look at the way he has been going up and down, it's politicking in the past few years. I have enough confidence.
It's been statesman.
I have enough confidence. No, even though nothing came out of the one set up by the former governor of Osun State, nothing came out of it. But this time around, I think there is a semblance of seriousness. And I think Saraki can be trusted to do something, waking up the party.
All right.
To animate some of the structures in it and to make them work.
Okay, let's go again to the other story on the front page. Why Jonathan won't run against Tinubu in 2027, according to the wife of ex-president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. She says that rather than contest, her family will campaign for Tinubu's re-election because Tinubu and his wife, Oluremi, supported Jonathan's 2011 presidential bid. That's what the Punch papers
I think what naturally will come to your mind is what will be the reaction of the president, former president, Lord Jonathan. I'm not sure Jonathan has appointed his wife.
That's the
spokesperson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in what capacity?
So in what capacity is she talking? Is she speaking? You know, what he said to me was ideal. Anyway, in 2011, I was a yes. I was no longer a political editor. I was a group news editor. You know, and we knew what happened. Tinubu supported President Jonathan totally. He had a landslide in Lagos, and his support, you know, means a lot. Was largely responsible for Jonathan's ascendancy as the president. So I don't know the discussion that the former First Lady, Patience, who is very, very, very emphatic, who does not miss words, and letting people know her mind. I don't know what they've had, but I think there's nothing bad in it. There's nothing bad in it. Because there have been rumors before now that Jonathan and Obi are some of the credible people that can challenge Tinubu. Because the way and manner Jonathan led government gave a lot of credibility, both internally and externally. You know, so he has a lot of support. You know, so people are thinking that maybe a PDP that decided to wake up may use him as their flag bearer. But what Uduman said yesterday lay all those things to rest.
Right.
You know, I don't see the man coming out to rebuke and rebuke your wife.
Those that want to criticize what she said, you know, make reference to the fact that if you listen to some of the further things that were said, she talked about doing Senator Oluremi Tinubu not just as First Lady, but you know, their relationship predated her getting into Aso Rock because they worked together to ensure they sealed Jonathan's election. They supported him, and then she said something in the line of "It's turn by turn." You know, when it's one person's turn, you know, it's their turn now, so they will throw their support behind them, which then leads people back to when the president said, you know, he made that thing that it is. He said it in Yoruba language when he said it's my turn. Someone should remind me. Emilio Khan, yes, and that was the way that people criticized him because they said that we're making Nigeria a thing of individual inheritances. Is there, you know, credence to that argument? People who criticize when politicians say, oh, is this person's turn? Is that person's turn? Is their turn? So we'll support them. They try to be somebody else's turn.
But based on where we're coming from, you know, and based on the embryonic nature of our democracy, they're not dividing and zoning these things to different regions. It's not about individuals. It's about the zone. What she was referring to is that it is the turn of the South to rule. Give them 8 years. And we will not challenge Tinubu because of what he has done for us and what the wife, what the woman, who is my friend, has done for me. So let's not overheat the politics. It's turn by turn. Let them finish their 8 years and go and rest. Another person will take over. And I think the woman, you see, people normally
8 years if re-elected.
People normally look at the
So that's what I wanted to say. Let's even just get to the point where we assume that one tenure is 8 years. Because at this point, it's as good as
saying... look at it from the Peter Obi's suggestion that the president should just do 5 years straight. And then
that would need electoral reforms.
Yeah, and then we should consider electoral reforms.
As I said last on this program,
on Friday.
We are not likely to have a Gorbachev, Nigeria, who will work towards his own demise, his own decimation.
Self-sacrifice.
It's difficult. So I think President Jonathan spoke well yesterday. He spoke well yesterday. You know, and why some of them feel that someone don't come again, no. But she spoke sense. And she was very savvy and realistic when she spoke. That is the turn of these people. They then continue. I will support them. No. My husband will not come back. No, that leads to rest many things. And I think the camp of the president should be clicking glasses now.
Yeah. Let's look at the Tribune. There's another topic there which also
before you go to the Tribune, okay. I wanted him to quickly touch on, since he mentioned Gorbachev, self-sacrifice. Are we having a Gorbachev moment in Rivers State where the governor, embattled governor Fubara, is saying, I'm not desperate to return to Rivers, to return as governor? And it was in church yesterday. He said it's looking good. That does it look like, you know? The
same thing that former First Lady said when she said, people are saying that I'm looking younger. You're asking.
Look at the context. Look at the context of that statement.
But let's get your context. What's it?
the media will always look for angle.
No, he said it, there's no angle here.
Let's play the video.
Plain and
Let's play.
simple.
Can our producers play the
I'm talking to
video?
you as a senior journalist.
Okay, let our producers play the video.
As a news editor, I will tell my reporter which angle are you using. What's the best angle? The many things he said yesterday.
Yeah.
It was looking good, you know. But I'm not too desperate, is what he said. Not that he's no longer interested. You know, look, don't.
No, Fubara, so
Okay, let's take a second
Yes.
to listen to that video of Governor Fubara in church yesterday. Let's examine the body language and the context of everything he said, and then we'll come back and analyze this.
Have you asked yourself, do you think I am even interested in going my way? I want to ask you, don't you see how better I look? Do you think I'm interested in it? If I have my way, I say it's square. It's the order of God. I don't wish going back there. My spirit has left that place long ago.
If I had my way, he said, he would not wish to go back there.
Oh, it's a contest. Well, he said many things.
what do you think the context was saying that
Pick
from?
it from there.
Okay, pick what they want.
What he was saying implicitly, not explicitly,
Okay.
is that I'm not too desperate to go back there. You know, you can see that I'm not looking too bad. I'm enjoying myself, but I'm working for you people. But left for me, I'm not in the house to go back there.
So you don't think that his spirit is broken?
No. I don't think so. I think the mood of the country, most Nigerians support Fubara.
Very true.
That is a fact. And he knows that. So I think his handlers are also doing a good job. He's not talking too much.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
spoke in the church.
Yeah.
Let it rest that way. You have made your point. Even though you shouldn't have said that. People that are working for him may be discouraged.
Just like you said this morning.
Yeah, we did say that.
So you need to be very careful the way he speaks. But based on what he said is that what he said was, I'm not too desperate to go back there.
Okay, let's now move to the Nigerian Tribune, Benga. Let's take the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
I think the one that I'd like for us to look at is what we have on the front page of Nigerian Tribune, which indeed causes a little worry for me. Cancer before age 50 increasing in Nigeria. Experts raise alarm. Cancer increasing before age 50. Experts are raising alarm. That's a good one to look into. But I'd like us to focus on this one. It says, unease over INEC's delay to conduct by-election in 12 states. 2 Senate seats, 5 rep seats, 9 state constituencies affected. So INEC's delay in conducting by-election in 12 states is also becoming a cause for worry, especially for many who are looking into it. And then the big one, which, we can also look at this. It says, Obi, how Nigeria can become beacon of hope for Africa, blames setback on incompetent, uncommitted leadership. We've seen Mr. Peter Obi talk about leadership for as long as God knows when.
And that is what an opposition leader should be doing. Obi is an opposition leader. Obi's duty, for now, his primary duty should be how to make sure that those in power are not sleeping. Is to make sure that he offers alternative to what the government in power is doing. And the media, be social and mainstream media, is giving Obi that platform to make noise, to correct these people when they are going wrong. So I think it's okay. But at the same time, it should always come out with facts. Facts. Because I have known him at a very short distance.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, the man Obi is a good man. But it's one thing to be in government. It's hard to be outside government. If you're not outside government, it's very easy to talk. Gentlemen and ladies, it's very easy to talk. But when you are there, and the reality, face to face with reality, you'll be singing different tunes. But I think a Peter Obi in the political terrain, in the political space, is very vital. Because you have to be vigilant. Vigilance is what you pay for. It's the price for them, freedom and democracy. So by giving Obi that platform to talk, and whether they like it or not, people in government will listen to him. That's what we saw yesterday, last week.
Yeah, the reactions from Akpabio.
So Obi is something. Anything he says is a major news.
And I would say that in the history of, 26 years of our uninterrupted democracy, we've not had an opposition leader that, from the end of the last election, has been consistent in dealing with policy issues and criticizing government up until what we normally get is a penultimate year before a general election, they come out.
No, why do I think that is possible? Because Obi is financially independent. Obi is first and foremost a businessman.
Yeah.
So you have the resources to play with. If Obi was a normal politician, a normal political jobber, Obi would not have the resources to go around. You know, today is in Rome to mourn the late Pope. The next day he went to US, University of Oxford University.
Yes.
So the other day is in Egypt. The other way he go to jobs. He was refused entry into Benue State. You know, those are the things because he has the resources, my dear brother. Then again, Obi has the personality that is very charismatic and amiable. And he has a lot of followers in the social media. These are people pushing him. So I think an Obi is very important. An Obi is something that we need as an ingredient to make a democracy work. It's very, 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 very important. Whether they like it or not, anything he says, people will listen. It's putting the government of the day in check. It's very, very good for our future, our democracy.
Very interesting. Let's look at our final paper. Don't forget you can also be part of it by calling in. The phone number is right there on the screen. We'd like you to react to either of the stories that we're taking.
Right.
Daily Trust. Ganduje under fire over one party state comment. Over the weekend, I was opportune to also stumble on that article and read through. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, also a former governor, Mr. Ganduje, came out to say that there's nothing wrong in Nigeria heading for a one-party state. This followed the situation where two former PDP members, I think in Kebbi State or so, were moving back to the APC, and he took them single-handedly to the president and said he presented them to him. While he made that statement, he also highlighted what's happening in China and said there's nothing wrong that, Nigeria
should be one of the strongest countries in the world, and that they have a one-party
Is China a democracy?
However, Ohaneze Afenifere, MPP, and others told him that he shouldn't make such statements in a democratic setting.
Exactly.
There was a gentleman who was former chairman of PDP, national chairman of PDP, Vincent Ogbolafor. Ogbolafor was also
boisterous.
Was also very in district, talk anyhow, because his party was in power. And he told the whole world that the PDP will rule for 60 years. Maybe I should ask you where the man is now.
No, we don't know.
Have they ruled for 60 years?
No.
They've not. So it's unfortunate that Ganduje and the still other probe of corruption by FCC.
Is the FCC aware?
FCC and even Kano State. And Ganduje that is a PhD holder in UI. Then PhD from UI. Would not be too circumspect, it would be so unpragmatic. Yes, people are joining your party, they have the right to do so. Most of them are opportunists, we know that. Yes, you can't be crying when they're doing so, because it's your party. Yes, naturally, it's normal. But don't
endorse it.
Absolutely. No, you can endorse it.
But if you
are the one, you endorse it. I will endorse it, I'm the one. But don't tell us, don't deodorize us that Nigeria should be a one-party state, using the example of China.
Basically, it's also saying
there is no freedom, for God's sake. They should tell Ganduje in China. If you give me a visa to China, everything we're paid, I will tell you, thank you. I will not jump into my car and jump into the plane to go to China.
Why? Why is that?
Because China is not a free society. My first time in the US was 2001. Courtesy of U.S. government.
In fact, I need to quote some things.
Since then, what I imbibed in my 3-month stay of fellowship in U.S. till today is still with me. It's a free society. People should be free. In China, they're not free. They have money. Yes, the system is closed, but the economy is open.
Open, yeah.
How do you suppose that?
The freedom in America too, you use it loosely because, it's
just
debatable.
to further buttress the fact you're pushing forward. It says, a one-party state is not by force, it's by negotiation. it's because other political parties see the effect of the positive governance of our party. If they decide to come to our party willingly, I think there is nothing wrong with that. Then he makes reference to China. Then I'll come back to quote something else. He says, we're not saying we're working for a one-party system, but if this is the wish of Nigerians, we cannot quarrel with that. You know, they say, too many cooks spoil the soup. Too many political parties spoil governance.
You know, for example,
DJ 2025.
Earlier conversation on what happened in River State.
Yeah.
You know, this man too said many things. But they
Context.
only removed that aspect to one party state. So if you want to look at this with the context of where he was going and when he said it and where he said it.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful in all these things.
But in any context, I think he goofed.
We're not quoted as of context. He goofed. I agree with that. You know, as the chairman of a major political party in Nigeria, the ruling party, former governor of a state, a major beneficiary, major beneficiary of this democratic project, I think Ganduje should be more careful in the way he speaks. So it won't be raising tension in the polity. The man said it before, Ogulafo. PDP rule for 60 years. I've been rule for 60 years. So the only way they can rule forever is if APC provide Nigerians with good governance.
All right.
Take up their welfare, they can rule forever. Nigeria will not mind. But if there is no good governance, if there is huge unemployment, if bandits and terrorists are rampaging the country, and the economy is not doing so well, it will be difficult for Ganduje to be proposing and theorizing what is putting forward.
All right. I don't want us to miss this story as well on the front page. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, arms worth trillions of naira in Boko Haram's hands, according to a House of Rep member. That's Yusuf Gaki. He's the APC. He's in the APC Plateau State. He, of course, alleged that arms, really, millions of trillions of naira in Boko Haram's hands. But I want us to look at the stats here. Recent Boko Haram attacks on military formations in Borno and Yobe states. 24th of March 2025, we can see 20 soldiers killed, anti-aircraft weapons, guns, rifles, others looted in Benue State. The very next day, March 25th, Boko Haram terrorists attacked and dislodged troops under 120 Task Force Battalion in Yobe State. Boko Haram terrorists attacked and killed 4 soldiers at the military location near Sabongeri in Damboa local government area, Borno State. So this was in one-day interval. Then come to 3rd of May. Terrorists killed 4 soldiers, looted infantry weapons and MRAPs and others in Yobe State, I believe. That's not very clear, so I can't see the writings. 7th of May 2025, Army captain and soldier killed by Boko Haram terrorists and insurgents during midnight attack community in Goza, Borno State. So link this to the House of Reps member raising the alarm about the trillions of naira in their possession, and it's screaming trouble. We should be concerned. I don't know, it really gives me cause for concern.
Just made my day, what you just read. You made my day, absolutely. And I was thinking and hoping that our leaders, our policymakers are watching this program. To listen to what we have just read out on the newspaper. There are 2 key things. That it's not impossible that the money they have been budgeting for defense, because every year in, year out, the defense budget is the largest share, the biggest share of our budget every year. Where is the money going to? The money that the National Assembly appropriates for the fight against terrorism and banditry. Where is the money going to? That is 1. 2, our intelligence, it appears, is very, very pure. Very poor in the sense that people have been saying that it's impossible that these people, they've infiltrated the military and intelligence agency. Because how are you going to convince me that these people just have easy access to our armory, to our barracks, without getting information from within? That's why I said I am very happy that you are dealing on these things. And you see, another point to note is that there are reports in the media that Dubai, UAE, gave Nigerians names of sponsors
Oh yes, we talked about
of terrorism,
financiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are they not looking at this? The financiers. Why are they not looking at this list? Why is government so, I don't know, helpless in addressing this thing? Are we going to be at the mercy of these people? Why is the government so incapable? I don't know.
Who are they protecting?
Maybe I need to be educated, but I'm not an expert. Who are they protecting? I don't think some non-state actors should be more powerful than the government. So I think the government should do the right thing. Come out and address these issues that you have just raised and that was also raised by that.
And I must really applaud, this House of Rep member.
Yeah.
He's said here, he talked about calling different departments, agents and parastatals that are fighting security to come and account for the negligence on their own part. He said, and I quote, that we are moving to a level where Nigerians will fight us the way they fight criminals and Boko Haram. If action is not taken, Nigerians will take their destinies into their own hands. And we already see that happening.
It's happening
Earlier
already.
today, we had the report, one of our reporters in Katsina State brought reports of these people who have had their families taken, from them.
They came out
from them.
protest.
So they've now become vigilantes, right? But there's only so much they can do to protect themselves with their insufficient weaponry to combat these terrorists who have specialized, specialized weapons. So the quality of weapons that these people wield, you wonder where did they get them from? How did they get the access to this? Which then comes back to again the conversation about funding and how we're funding terrorism.
They are funding, how they are getting the money
power of borders,
to buy these ammunitions. And at the same time, one thing you should not forget is that ask yourself why there are no bandits in Kano. In Kano. I was in Kano for 7 years. These people will only operate where they can hide.
On vast ungoverned spaces.
Pardon?
Vast ungoverned
Absolutely.
spaces.
They cannot hide in Kano. They cannot hide in some states, like Sokoto, for example, and some states in the north. In Bauchi, for example. There's a committee in Bauchi that when they came out for them, those guys came out to fight. Though they lost some people, but it is there, those guys never came back. So we need to look at all these things, but more importantly is the fact that it is the responsibility
Of the
and duty of the federal government to protect Nigerians, and they need to do more. They need to do more.
But just to quickly check that about insecurity in Kano, I do believe that there are situations where there are bandits in Kano State. In the year 2000,
That's a long time ago.
when I went, and even in recent reports, you see them are asking for, insecurity, for security to be prioritized. I specifically almost witnessed there was a near miss in 2000 when I traveled, and they have been arrested in March this year in Kano State of bandits in Kano State.
But they don't have, their attack is not consistent. They don't have that base like they have in Niger, and they have in Zamfara, and they have in Plateau. What is driving them there is, look at the resources. The mining industry in the Zamfara is driving them. The mining industry in Niger is doing that. The mineral resources in Plateau, is inducing them to partake in this banditry attacks. But the government has the power. They should not be helpless in the face of this assault. They should face them squarely and deal with them and their sponsors.
As we look set to wrap up, there are also concerns looking at this. The House of Rep member, if you're opportunity to see the video, he also made some very critical analysis of the insecurity going on in the north. He also mentioned that these bandits are using drone technologies to carry out their nefarious acts. These, equipment that the military themselves do not have. He made these points. He said he wonders where they got it from. And that kind of takes us back. Looking at the papers, having reviewed the papers every now and then, a former governor of Edo State, of course a comrade, had also come out to say that the government should also look into the fact that there is a place somewhere in the north where people come in and take our natural resources and live. I'm talking about former Governor Adams Shomole. And all of these things, yet there seems to be no response from the federal government.
Well, maybe they know what I don't know. They should have more information, they should have more intelligence, But the fact is that when it bleeds, it leads. When people are dying, Nigerians will raise concern. We express reservation, But the picture this anchor woman just painted is not a good one for all of us. I'm telling you, it's scary. When you were reading those things, I was just shaking. I said, this country, is it because you're in Lagos?
But the authorities won't be happy with the editors at Daily Trust. They say
No,
they always do that. They always come out with the data. And our friends at SBM Intelligence always, I think that's another thing we'll have to focus on here, especially bringing one of the SBM Intelligence representatives to here, because they always do detailed security analysis and reports. And the reports are not good. We just had our researcher who left here, who joined us earlier on. And he also said the same thing of how porous the North is and how very, very, dangerous it is.
Just before we go, in the next 30 seconds to 1 minute, there was a story we left out. Who's to blame? NCAA, the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace, NEMET. What is an antelope doing on a runway? Not bird strike. You bird strike, you understand, but antelope strike.
The team was killed.
So NCAA on the fire after plane strikes antelope.
How did the antelope escape to the runway? Anyway, too many things to consider, and there's one big story that we didn't touch today, which we'll touch tomorrow. It's the biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Federal government taps ex-AGF 11 SCNs as Supreme Court battle looms. This is, of course, making reference to Rivers State regarding the PDP governors that took the federal government to court. The Supreme Court may release hearing today, release judgment or release hearing dates today, and I'm sure that that's a conversation that will continue to follow up here.
Also, tomorrow we must talk about this antelope issue. It reminds me of Orlando's song, "Oh Kangaroo."
Talk about what Nigeria has not had a national carrier.
Yes.
To date.
Air Peace is acting as a national carrier.
There's not a national carrier. It's a private project.
Where's this man again? Hadi Sirika?
Place.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Thank you so much to our audience for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. We'll see you again tomorrow, and thank you to our virtual audience. Thank you very much, Habib Aruna. It's always a pleasure to have you.
For coming at such a quick
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
I am MOD.
I'm Joe Hansen.
I'm Benga Bora, and I'll be playing "Oh Kangaroo" as I'm going home.
Au revoir. Goodbye.